Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Is Stormworks broken? That is the question that we are going to be asking and hopefully answering a little bit today. So let's jump into the game and go over a few of the things that have changed from the Space DLC update. Let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to test out then is actually the buoyancy issues. So a few people have reported that there are buoyancy issues in the game, so their ships no longer float. And honestly, I am a little bit of a victim of this as well. So let's go ahead and spawn in one of the ships that we've been working on, and you'll see how unbuoyant it is. Is unbuoyant a word? I'm not sure. Okay, so there is our World War I destroyer that we've put lots of effort into, and it now just sinks. So if you guys seen this before, it actually floated very, very nicely, and we were just about to actually balance it out very nicely as well. You know, with the steam engines being in there already, I've put a lot of effort into this, and unfortunately, it now sinks. And the reason being is because I used pivots to help it float a little bit, which, you know, made it float nicely and made it look normal. Unfortunately, it now just sinks. So, yeah. Not entirely sure what I'm going to do about this. However, I have another build that we've built, and I'm going to show you guys that as well. Okay, so this right here is, of course, our tanker from our career mode, and this one actually floats quite nicely. Now, the reason for this, I believe, is because it's actually quite wide. There is a lot of air on the inside. However, this does actually have a tank full of water right now, and that's why it's so low. But this one actually floats quite nicely. So depending on how you've built your ship, it will float, or it won't float. And honestly, that's the thing. I feel like everything that sort of looks like it should float, sort of should, you know? Because, you know, for years, we've had the pivot glitch, and we've been using it, and it's been helping everybody out. And now, it's not a thing. It seems weird, because it's made a lot of things on the workshop kind of useless, because they kind of just sink now. Just because I want to, let's go ahead and check out a few more of my vehicles and see if any of those suffer from the same thing the World War I destroyer suffers from. Alright, so this is our career mode boat. Honestly, this thing actually floats somewhat okay. It's not amazing, and yes, it is a little bit lower than it normally was, because there is now water on the deck, but it's not terrible. I think there is a way of making this a little bit better, but it is by making this thing more into a box, which is a problem. You don't really want to do that. You make your hulls look ugly, and it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's not very nice. One thing that I do actually want to check as well is what the starter boat actually does, whether that has water on the deck too. So let's look at that next. Okay, so yeah, it is actually a good test to do this. So let's go into the presets, which are built by the devs themselves. This is our starter boat that they've got, and yeah, that is also underwater. I mean, if your own boat, as the dev, sinks, then there's a bit of an issue there. I don't know whether it was always like this. I don't think it was. So, yeah, that's a bit silly, isn't it? That is a little bit silly. Anyway, let's move on to another another issue that we actually have. Okay, so this next issue actually revolves around planes, unfortunately. So this right here is my Coast Guard plane shell. There's not actually anything in it, which you will see in a second. Yeah, there's just a bunch of seats. I don't even know how you actually close the door on this. I think you just reach up there. Anyway, the main issue with this is that jet engines seem to cut out when you go above 200 meters in altitude, or at least around that, which seems very, very weird because it's a jet engine, and it should definitely work at high altitudes. So let's go ahead and start them up. We'll get ourselves into the air, and I'll show you guys the issue. Here we go. So this used to be able to fly really high before, which you guys may or may not have seen. I don't know. Let's lift up the landing gear, and there we go. We are flying. We are at an altitude of 400 meters, and our engine is cutting out. That seems so wrong. Why is a jet engine cutting out at 400? I think that's actually 400 feet. That doesn't make much sense. But as we lower down, it might start back up again. Let's see. So we're down to 200 meters, or 200 feet, 150 feet, and it's starting to spool back up. But I don't understand that. Why is it broken in the first place? That seems really weird. Now, it is worth saying there hasn't been a hotfix for this, so hopefully very soon we get some fixes for both the buoyancy and this. There's not really too much else I can actually show you about this. In fact, let's just go ahead and try and fly at a low altitude for a little bit of time and see if it is that. Let's see if it just flies nicely whilst it's low. I think it will. We're trying to stay low enough. That might be an issue. Okay, so we're in the sky, and we are just above the water. There we go. This plane doesn't fly too well, but it is working. And as you guys can see, it is flying kind of nicely. Like, it is sort of working, which is good. But let's go ahead and go to a bit of a higher altitude. Here we go. And you'll hear that the engines start to spool back. And there they go. That's crazy. They actually stall out at like 200 feet. That's insane. I didn't actually know this was an error or an issue until, I read on the Discord. But that's crazy. I don't know why jet engines cut out that quickly. That doesn't make any sense. It is worth mentioning as well, I don't think this is actually an error with the DLC. I think this is an error with the update. There was an update that everybody got, no matter whether you had the DLC or you didn't. Everybody has these issues, which is super duper annoying. Now, we've had something like this before in the past where we had to rebuild our stuff. Obviously, I haven't put as much effort into my builds as some people. Some people go crazy, thousands of hours into one build, insane. But yes, I guess hundreds of hours, I should say. I don't know whether anyone does 1,000 hours, but maybe, maybe someone's done that, and now their craft doesn't actually get above 200 feet. Who knows? But yeah, let's go ahead and see if there's any more. I'm gonna have a little look on the Discord. Alright, so I actually seen someone write this on the stormworks. I think it was actually the update post, but they said they got to 90% and it wasn't actually loading. Luckily, mine has just got through, but that was actually a really long loading screen. For no reason. It got stuck at 90 for ages there, longer than normal. Anyway, I'm about to show you guys something else. Okay, before I get on to the thing that I wanted to show you guys, one thing that I've noticed is you can actually see, like, black stars in the sky. I don't really understand why they look like that, or why you can actually see them, but on a nighttime you'll see they actually all turn white, so they're like always there. That is an enemy plane, but don't worry about that. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't really like the fact that when I look into the sky sometimes, I just see black dots. I feel like that's kind of a strange move. I don't know whether they've done that on purpose or not, but, yeah. Also, this isn't a video just bashing the devs. I genuinely want these things fixed, and I think making a video about the issues that we have is probably a good idea. Also, I don't really see the black dots until I zoom in. No, actually I do a little bit. You do a little bit. Anyway, back on to what I was going to show you. Alright, I found it! Finally! I've been waiting for one of these guys to spawn, or at least the bigger version of this to spawn, but if you guys are a fan of fighting the AI in the water, well, they've already sank themselves. So, essentially, they are under the water already, and I don't really know why. I guess they suffer from the same buoyancy issues that everybody else suffers from. So, having something like this in your game, where, obviously, clearly this is a part of your game, and, and I guess this is actually a part of your game that people have to pay for. It doesn't make sense that it is this scuffed, Now, I don't want to say that I'm banging on the devs, and I also don't want to say that I'm, completely with the devs, because, I just want to be sort of neutral in this situation, and I just want the game to be okay, and that's what I'm trying to do with this video. I just want to point out a few things that, it just seems scuffed. This isn't right. I want to try and find a bigger warship, but I couldn't find them. Now, that might just be because they're underwater, and they're actually submarines. But, yeah, I haven't seen one. And I've been looking for quite a while. Oh, and this is just one thing, just about the weapons DLC for a second, which obviously isn't anything to do with what we were talking about in this video. These tanks should be able to shoot backwards. I've always found it very weird that you can walk around an anti-aircraft tank and just walk to its backside, or even fly in from its backside and destroy it. I'm assuming in real life the turret could turn all the way around. I don't know for sure, but this seems weird. It seems very strange. I think it's the same with the other tanks as well. Let me go ahead and have a little look at... Oh, it's the same one. Is that the same one? Oh, you got the same tank spawning 3 times. I don't think that ever happens. I think that's rare anyway. But yeah, that's got nothing to do with this update or this DLC, so we're just going to ignore that for now. Oh, and another thing that I actually heard people complaining about, which, you know, I don't know whether this is something to complain about or not. Listen. Like a squelchy fart. That's what it sounds like when you drown. Like a... It's really weird. I don't know. I don't think I like that sound. And I don't think very many people do either, which is evident because a lot of people have pointed it out. Is that a dog? That's a dog. Look at that. Nice. But yes, there are a few issues. There are probably more issues than I've actually pointed out in this video. But this video is just here to essentially say I really like this game. And I want it to be good. I really do. My main thing is that I want to play multiplayer with people. I didn't really care for space, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't understand why it was something people wanted. I mean, I know that it's like pretty crazy, you know, but I don't think it was where this game was gonna go. So yeah, is that one of the big ships? I can see something poking out. I think this is a... Yep, it's another small one. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see space as something that this game was gonna go for. I feel like the next normal step would be like, I don't know, fishing or something like that, because we've got all of this water, you know, on this island, all of this empty water. We could do something with it. Or even one thing that I've actually wanted, and this is taken from Simple Planes. In Simple Planes, there is an aircraft carrier sort of traveling around. I feel like it'd be kind of nice to have an aircraft carrier traveling around that is just one piece, it's one block, it's not made of like in-game blocks, so it wouldn't be too laggy, or even if it was just still, just something to land on, I think would be really cool. But yeah, we got space instead. But yeah, fishing would be cool, and sailing would also be very cool, which is both some things, or they are both things that people have voted for in the past. I don't know how those votes went now, I'm not sure, but yeah. Anyway, let's try and make Stormworks better. Hopefully the devs will listen to some of the things that are wrong, and I'm assuming a hotfix will fix most of these things anyway. But yeah. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. Those are just some of my thoughts, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye. Oh, and I do want to mention, this video was made at 4 o'clock in the morning, so if I sound tired or you guys don't understand me, that might be why. Okay. I've just found something else that doesn't appear to be working. I was trying to take a picture, and I can't hide myself. So, yeah, I am gonna be in the thumbnail, guys. I'm gonna be right there. Unless this isn't the thumbnail. Oh, there is actually another thing that I want to talk about. Let's go there. Okay, so as you guys can see, we got ourselves a workbench at this space place right here, so the launch site, Monkey Brain launch site. Now, if we go to spawn something in, sometimes it feels like it might be because the ground is a bit wobbly, sometimes it's because things are a little bit too heavy, maybe, I'm not sure, but they like to merge with the ground. So let me go ahead and show you that. Okay, so this is one of my creations, and yes, it is actually fine right now, but watch this. As soon as we get inside the seat, you'll see some issues. In fact, you might see some issues already because it's already started wobbling, but hang on. Here we go, sit in the seat. Oh no, actually this time it is actually working fine. But sometimes, sometimes, let me see if I can get it to do it. The stuff actually gets stuck in the ground. But weirdly, it's now working fine. So I don't know what's happened there. But it was definitely merging with the ground last time I tried to use this thing. Okay, well, it's super weird that it is working every time now. So yeah, just be careful if you are spawning things in, especially if you're in like a career mode going to space for whatever reason, that your creation doesn't get eaten by the ground, because that has happened to me multiple times. Just as something that you should look out for. But yeah, I can't actually get it to happen now, which is a good thing, I suppose. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.